All right, that's all you'll find. All of which is false narrative, either deliberately written or, in some cases with the media, ignorantly written.
So is there a businessman, politician, media kind of nexus against you in India?
I don't know who is against me except this government. And I made no bones about it that I am their poster boy. I am also a political football, right? You must have heard the narrative. BJP tells Congress, tumne loan dilwaya. Congress responds to BJP, tumne bhagne diya. Vijay Mallya is the football in the middle.
What is the biggest challenge of doing business in India?
Government.
Explain.
Government. It's in the Indian DNA. No matter what the state government or a federal government may say about ease of doing business in India, there is no ease of doing business in India. There are hurdles, bureaucratic hurdles, political hurdles all along the way. They may have reduced over a period of time, but no, I mean, you can't compare India and ease of doing business in India with any of the Western economies.
But how did you manage that before? Like earlier, you expanded your group from a couple of 100 crores to thousands of crore. Then definitely you must be navigating somehow with all these challenges. What did you do?
That's what I said. I had to maintain good relations with almost 29 countries. That's the 29 states, all of which were empowered by the Constitution to have their own policy on liquor. So I had to effectively be in the good books of 29 chief ministers.
What do you mean by becoming or getting in the good books of the government?
Well, you know,
like, were you doing favors? They were asking favors to you? Was there...
Look, let me tell you, when elections were announced, I would desperately want to take a holiday outside India.
Why?
Because I didn't want to be accessible. The politicians always felt that, you know, the liquor business was the cash cow that would meet their electoral aspirations. And, you know, sometimes these aspirations were completely unreasonable and impractical. But no, I mean, look, dealing with government doesn't mean underhand exchange of money. Okay, it definitely doesn't. I mean, whoever said that, you know, I can buy my way through X, Y, or Z is wrong.
Okay.
You can have good relations with people, and provided you present a proposal to them that meets their own political objectives, it works well.
But would there ever be exchange under the table as well? All of that used to work, or no?
You know, I'm not going to confirm or deny that because I leave it to your imagination. Because I think you know India as much as I know India.
And they would ask for backing their election campaigns. That's what they would ask technically. Or was there something else as well?
Look, the demands were varied.
Give me example of 2-3 demands.
The demands were, first of all, cash. Second, copious amounts of alcohol, which seems to be an essential part of any electoral campaign.
For free.
Vehicles.
Cars.
Yeah, vehicles, jeeps, cars, yeah. So it was multifarious. But the easiest for me was to disburse alcohol, which is, you know, at the end of the day, I was in a privileged position heading India's largest alcohol company. I could say, all right, fine, you know. But yeah, alcohol plays a big role in elections in India, even today.
How do you make money now?
How do I make money?
Like today, how do you make money?
I get a modest salary from my company.
Not the Indian companies.
No.
So do you own anything here? There are companies here or in other countries?
Of course. I mean, I told you I've been a non-resident since 1988. Okay? Even though I sold Berger Paints in 1996, I've had several other businesses outside of India for the last 30 years.
What was your net worth at peak in India?
I don't know, because it fluctuated with the share value.
But if
And
any number you
subject
had.
to great amount of speculation.
Okay.
Frankly, what difference does it make?
What's your net worth today?
I don't know. Probably zero, according to the banks. Probably.
Walk me through your day today. What do you do now?
Nothing.
After all of this is done, what time do you wake up? How do you keep yourself busy? What do you do?
Well, I have 6 dogs. I love them. I love dogs. I play with them. I like to keep abreast of international news. I love my dogs. I play with them a lot. I have a few classic cars, which I like to tinker with. But I have an office on the property next door with my staff. And yeah, as I told you, I have running businesses. And so I keep an eye on them. But sadly, a lot of time is taken on unproductive and very expensive legal matters. Sadly, once again, the banks in India, who are state-owned banks, public sector banks, carried their attack on me here even before the UK courts. So as if Indian legal proceedings were not enough. They even came here. Fine, so I have to defend myself.
And the businesses that you run here, they fund the legal fees and everything that you're doing.
Yeah. There's, let's put it this way, there's enough to go around.
What kind of businesses are here? The same brewery or something else?
Oh, yeah. Basically, same, my core business.
Alcohol, brewery, or all that. Yeah. You love it. You love
Well,
doing the same thing.
That's what's in my blood. You know, I used to joke when I was young. I said I was born in a bottle.
Wow. Do you feel restricted now? Because you just use word, I was born in a bottle. Do you feel that you have been caged in a bottle again with all these legal matters? Because you don't have a passport. You're a free bird flying around all over the world.
Yeah. So
now you're stuck here.
That freedom went in 2016 when the Indian government revoked my passport. So it wasn't a suspension, it was a revocation. So I knew back then the consequence was no travel, right? So for a guy who used to be on a plane 3-4 times a week, flying around the world, to be in one country for 9 long years, certainly a game changer. It must be. But it's not a matter of life and death. I mean, it isn't that profound because there's enough and more to do and to enjoy a quality of life that, okay, has shrunk in many ways from what used to be, but it's still okay. One must get on and move on.
Does it not bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. Do I look bothered? No,
Not to me.
It's not a question of what is the meaning of do I get up in the morning and wipe my tears away every day? No.
Someday, some point, you're like, I'm done with this. Like, what the hell is happening with me?
What is my solution? What are my options? The government of India has revoked my passport, right? All I can get is a one-way travel pass to India. That's it. What about my constitutional rights that every Indian citizen is entitled to a passport? And what happens if I try to enforce those? It'll drag on for years in the court by the time I might be too old to travel.
So don't you feel lonely here?
No, well, I have a lot of my friends here in England. A lot of people come and visit me. Well, another one of life's lessons is when times are tough, you realize who your actual friends are. And I have realized that very comprehensively. I mean, those who used to be my so-called buddies who, in times of my heyday, for lack of a better word, are nowhere to be seen.
So you used to hang out with a lot of billionaires, Bollywood celebrities, politicians, a lot of people, and your friends from the corporate world. They all stopped taking up your calls?
No. The politicians certainly stopped. And I think as one of the many politicians explained to me, quite truthfully, which I respect, he said, if we are seen to be associated with you, this government will come after us. Because I think in the political world, I think it's pretty well known and more importantly, pretty obvious that this government is after me. So they want to protect themselves. As far as corporate titans are concerned, I mean, Kiran Mazumdar, bless her soul, she's like my sister, makes it a point to be in constant touch, comes to England, we always have a meal together. And like that, there are a few other good friends who keep in touch, but otherwise, no. Certainly not as frequently as I would have been in touch with them or seen them when I was in India and all these troubles hadn't started.
Talk about Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. She publicly talks about you and how close you were, like since childhood, you were friends. And she talks about your generosity, your optimism. She's been very vocal that you gave it all to save and fight it all. She has gone out in public and said that just it was bad times and bad things which happened to you, but you were right and you gave it all away. So she talks about it, and someone of that stature living in a very public market in country like India, usually people stay away from these conversations and people would want to, she talks, but she doesn't. She talks about it every time people ask about you. She's been okay about it. In fact, there was a statement that she said, a lot of people are optimistic. Vijay was probably rather more optimistic than most. And
no, it
she
wasn't
talks
a
about
question of just optimism. Let me tell you, Kiran and me grew up together. I talked about the brewery house in Bangalore. At that time, there was a little colony. So there was a brewery house in which I lived and then 4 other bungalows. The one next to the brewery house was actually occupied by Kiran Mazumdar and her father. Her father was the chief brewer and the technical director of UB. Okay. And so Kiran and her 2 brothers and mom grew up in my house, in my colony, with one wall separating us. So we were very, very close. And Kiran has been very, very different. She started off being a qualified brewmaster. How many Indian women can you think of who would go and qualify as a brewmaster? But Kiran was determined to do it, and she did it in Australia. So Kiran, as an entrepreneur, not only has been brilliant, but has a super brilliant track record. But she's a tough cookie, and she speaks her mind, which is something that people should respect. And being a woman at that. So I'm so grateful for her public support of me. She knows what I went through with Kingfisher Airlines. I used to share it with her all the time. And she knew that I gave it my all. I mean, forget about just putting in 3,000 crores. I mean, every bit of my blood, sweat, and tears went into trying to make Kingfisher Airlines work.
Now that she isn't here, you're not there, here you're alone, friends, parties, businesses, that